Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Stuck in K-Guard. We're sorry you found yourself stuck here with us again.
Just like we were apparently stuck with that fucking title. But
I don't know. It's unfortunately started to grow on me like some sort of malignant tumor.
Not much like the malignant tumor that was on your face last week.
Yes,
hey,
so
you know what, Kev? I'm sorry. It's your time.
But like for real, it's better, right? Shout outs to the people at the emergency clinic that gouged me for a lot of money, but fixed me up. So there's no harm, no foul. But let's just get right into it. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Bradley, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Kevin Gallagher. And we've got certainly no shortage of news to talk about with you this week. If I seem a little out of it, I apologize. I did have to say goodbye to a furry friend of mine, my longtime dog Wilbur. We had to, send him on his way this weekend, but he's in a better place now, and he's already glad he doesn't have to listen to this podcast. So, Wilbur, I love you, buddy, and
he
you're
probably
free.
dropped dead from the poor church of titles. He's like, are you really gonna stick with K-Guard?
The minute he heard K-Guard, he was just like, I'm out of here. Like,
but seriously, Kevin, my sincerest condolences. That is a hard thing. I had to put my dog down. About 6 months ago now, and it is unquestionably one of the first time I've ever done it. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It is horrible.
It's not easy. And I just do want to take a brief second to say, any pet owners out there, any dog owners specifically, please, if you haven't, get your pet vaccinated for leptospirosis. It's a real rough time disease. It ripped through my little guy really quickly. So if you can get them taken care of for that, it's just another thing you don't have to worry about, and if you're going to try and play anti-vax for your dog, please walk into the ocean with lead bricks in your pockets. How about that?
Get your dogs vaccinated.
Why don't you go just do something that takes you away from society for a little bit?
We don't need fruit juices and organic vegetables for your dog safety. Go get them their vaccinations.
One last little plug before we start, and we'll talk certainly more about this later in the episode, but Maysa Bastos just had a stellar performance on the WNO stage, defeating Grace Gundrum to claim the strawweight title. And if you'd love to learn more about the secrets she employs and the tactics she uses to be such a fucking beast, and you happen to be in the tri-state area, the Hive Martial Arts Academy is welcoming her for a seminar this weekend, this Saturday. So I don't know if there's any tickets left, but please go and check it out if you're able to in the area. She is an incredible resource, and it is absolutely worth your time. Okay, that minor plug over. Kev, baby, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hanging in there pretty well, man. I'm not going to lie. I have a slight bit of a concussion flare up once again, but I'm doing okay.
No.
On Friday when I sparred, I was like, you know what?
I saw the footage of that. I saw the footage of you mixing it up in the cage.
Still got a little something left in the tank. I just wanted to make sure I had my 45-second clip that I could show people.
Yeah, hey, 1FC, what are you sleeping on my boy for? You're going to give Tom DeBlas a contract, and you're going to sleep on my boy Kevin Gallagher?
My old ass, though, is fucking hard.
DeBlas has been ducking my guy for years, okay? He doesn't want a tenth of the shit Kevin
on the rare off chance that Tom DeBlas is watching this, I have much respect for you and your abilities. This is not by no means a call out. I love you very much.
Yeah, you respect his half guard.
Yeah, but if you give me $1 million, you're gonna fight in one FC. Give me your call. Oh shit, I do it for $100,000.
But yeah, man, ton of events. I'd love to get started with the one that's just the saddest, if you don't mind. We'll get into some of the UFC fights and the WNO, but our boy Jon Jones. Do you even want to waste time on that one? Like,
it's funny, Kev. That was almost my initial response when I saw it happened. It was like, it's not even news anymore. And that was a quote that I saw. I actually shared it on my Instagram page. It was something that Dana White had mentioned. He said something along the lines of, he doesn't even get, when he finds out that Jon Jones is in Las Vegas, he just assumes to himself that
he starts looking at his watch. Like,
it's just a matter of time before I get a call for something that went down. And man, it's unfortunate
Jon Jones, Jon Jones 1 week. Hey guys, I'm really starting to get dialed in on Jesus and scripture. I got another Bible quote tattoo. 2 days later, Jon Jones holds up the Bellagio Hotel with a pop rocket gun.
Kev, I hate to say this, and I never like to do this because I'm kind of a pessimistic person about things like that. Sometimes it's in my nature. But the only reason I am is because I've been around long enough and I've seen, junkies and addicts and the way they act. And I'm not necessarily calling Jon Jones a junkie, but he acts the same way as an addict does. They have this narcissistic, egotistical issue that they think they're better than everybody else. They can't accept the fact that they have a legitimate problem, which allows them to pretend like they do and convince the rest of the world while they're actually trying to convince himself. And it's just a matter of time. He has not learned his lesson. It's very apparent that that is the case. And once again, this will cost him the big fight that they were planning for Francis Ngannou. That's not going to happen now because I think he's going to go to jail this time. You don't get to continue to get
that it's not going to happen even because Dana White didn't say it's not happening. He said he's not surprised, but
jeez, man, I mean, what do you do? I mean, I read the police report, not the police report, but the highlights of it. And the felony they stuck him with seems a little bit weird and flimsy. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I have a law degree or have an understanding of the law, but what I know of the law, it seems to me like it's a fightable felony charge. Like he got domestic violence he got misdemeanor domestic violence with battery, misdemeanor battery domestic violence, and then there was a felony that was felony not destruction of property or felony like tampering with property or something like that. So he probably did damage to something that was over the sum of a felony charge, which is I think $5,000 or some shit like that, or $500 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which he will assuredly just be like, I'll just pay it so the felony goes away. I'll fix whatever I need to do so the felony goes away. But he gets caught with another felony, dude. I don't see how he doesn't go to jail. If they arrest him and they charge him with a felony, I don't know how he doesn't go to jail for this.
Yeah, but you think I guess with the way everything's been, you think he's not going to get some kind of big money fight the minute he's out? Like, it doesn't seem like.
Yes.
Dana White has said many times that a bunch of different people are never going to do X again, never going to do Y again for a number of reasons. Like he tried to make us believe that Amanda Nunes will never headline an event for the one time she backed out of a title fight like a few days prior. And she deservedly, she just got another chance and now she's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But this guy, he's literally done stuff that makes you the villain in shitty like Disney Channel movies. Like he's literally like he's the bad guy.
Yeah, ran some pregnant woman off the road and sprayed through the houses,
assaulted a waitress, cost the UFC and everybody like millions of dollars by having them move an event at the last second because he failed another drug test. All the drug fails.
When I think about Jon Jones, this is what I always think about when I think about that scenario. The sadness of this isn't necessarily that Dana White continues to make money off of him and folks continue to watch him fight because he's unquestionably probably the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. Now he's lost shit tons of time out of his own ignorance, shit tons of time and money out of his own ignorance, which is why I will back up Dana White when he says he's not going to pay him the money that he thinks he deserves because you just don't, homie. You just don't. It's unfortunate, but that's the way life goes. The sadness of all this is that a young man that could turn his life around, could really, really become a better human being and therefore keep himself safe. Because the story of Jon Jones will not have a happy ending. I continue to say it over and over. That is a troubled young man that needs to get the help he desperately needs.
He's not so young anymore, though.
No,
that's
it's getting uncute.
Yeah.
The point is that he can continue to live this life just like so many people at that high a level that have substance abuse issues or personality issues that they don't resolve because they continue to get paid. The fans still love them no matter what. So they feel like they are empowered to be able to do whatever they want to do. It enables them to continue to do bad things. And that's the sadness of it.
What I want to know is it's so weird because I don't even think he's particularly charismatic, but he has this ability to inspire loyalty in fans, or at least cause people to forget all the bad things about him. Because like when TJ Dillashaw popped for EPO, it was like his whole world fell out. Yeah, no, in like totality, like everyone was like,
fuck Dillashaw,
abandoning him.
Right.
And with Jon Jones, he does crimes. Like he just does crimes. Yeah. And he also has failed drug tests.
Too. Not even he ran some old lady off the road, like some pregnant woman.
It's like I get that.
Apologize.
I get that in terms of, like, he's failed like for like tainted dick pills, so we have no proof if he's actually using steroids, you know, and with the intent of improving his performance, or if he's just getting tainted shit and cocaine. Do fight fans just care only about your performance in the cage, and that's why Dillashaw's legacy was tainted more than Jones's? Like, because Jones is like, it could read Jones like Jon Jones kidnaps family of 5 for 2 weeks, and people are like, yeah, but he didn't take any performance enhancing drugs that we know of.
You know, I think what Jon Jones does, and it's something that a lot of people don't necessarily want to do, because a lot of people don't want to be looked at poorly. There's this thing inside of their heart where they have to be loved and adored by everyone, which makes them compromise their own integrity, because not everybody's a good person. That's okay. Whatever. You're kind of a dick. Sometimes you're kind of a dick. But I think what Jon Jones does so well is kind of what Conor McGregor does so well, and kind of like what Nick Diaz does so well, is they embrace the fact that they're the bad guy. They embrace the heel, and they don't give a shit. So the world respects them for that, and to some accord. In the same way that I kind of respect Jon Jones to some accord for embracing the bad guy. But unfortunately, the problem with Jon Jones is he plays both sides. Like, if you're going to embrace the bad guy, you would get my respect if you were like, yeah, fuck you, I did it, I don't care. But when he tries to play this whole, the world's out to get me, like they're all just trying to beat me down, it's me against them. It's the same thing that narcissists do, that addicts do, and it's what I see.
It's just, I don't want to talk about him anymore. Jon, if you're out there, just I'd tell you to get help, but like,
you won't.
I mean, listen, I can't. I wish you well, and I hope you don't hurt people anymore, because you've been hurting people.
One more time, I'm going to say it again, and it pains me to say this. If John, if you're listening to me, you want to talk, whatever, you give me a fucking call, we can talk about this shit. But like, the story of Jon Jones will not have a happy ending. There is no doubt in my mind that something poor is going to happen. Something very, very bad is going to happen to that young man soon. And then hopefully he has enough time left to figure out a way to get his life together. He hasn't hit rock bottom yet, and it's sad. Some people never do.
It's yeah, but obviously, if you think you're suffering from anything that's making you want to go out and live like Jon Jones, please go see someone, because he's not living the right way, and that sucks to say, but he's not. No. But I think we should talk about some of the good MMA news that we have.
Fuck Jon Jones.
Yeah, fuck Jon Jones. We just had
we got some time on that shit.
We just had a dynamite UFC card. Volkanovski absolutely starching Brian Ortega and evading some really, really like synced in submission attempts from the black belt. Did you catch the full thing?
I did. It was one of the. Normally I'm like, whatever. I'm sure I'll come watch the fights, but then my reclusive ass shit sits at home and I'm way too cheap to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I was out with some friends, and I caught the knockout in the Nate Diaz fight. I caught the Valentino fight, and then I caught Volkanovski fight, and goddamn, I'm so happy I did, because what an amazing fight that was. Probably one of the best fights I've ever seen, unquestionably. Just such an amazing fight.
I could hit Brian Ortega with my car, and I think he would still try and like triangle the car.
He is 100% emboldened by the Gracie legacy, and the idea that you just have to kill them. Like, Royce Gracie was on the bottom of what the hell is his name? The big Dan Severn.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes getting pummeled. Dan Severn even actually says it in an interview, like he felt bad because he knew that his grandfather would let him die in the cage. So therefore he let off a little bit, or maybe that's what he says, but you know,
Yeah.
it's plausible. And ends
I
up catching
think,
him in the triangle.
yeah, and with UFC, I think it was UFC 2 or 3 when Gracie fought Kimo Leopoldo, the long-haired guy.
Yeah.
And Kimo's beating the shit out of him, but he's like pulling his hair and shit.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
I'm surprised. That's another one. Like, I watched that fight, and I'm kind of surprised that they let it go as long as it did.
Well, you could. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing back then. They didn't know.
No, back then. Well, shit, back then there was no.
Oh, but this one.
This
you
fight,
mean this?
Ortega, shit that Ortega was in.
People are like giving. I think Herb Dean, not shit, but actual props for not stopping the fight, which is a little fucked up.
He's right there in his face, and I will give fucking Brian Ortega credit. It was absolutely amazing to me. After the 4th and the 5th round, I saw him on the stool. He looked out of it, dead, absolutely broken and beaten. And as soon as he would stand up for the next round, he would start hopping around and get ready and come right back out like he was fresh as a daisy. It was insane because Volkanovski hits freaking hard like a truck. His ability to stay with it and get back into it. I think he won the 5th round. I think he actually came back and won that 5th round, which is
well, I mean, with all the submission attempts, like how crazy is this the best advertisement for the B team that you could ever hope for? Just like the fact that he had all of those very deep submission attempts, especially that guillotine, and Volkanovski is just able to fight out of it. Like, do you think that says a lot about the pressure he's under in the gym?
Personally, I think the triangle was a little bit tighter. They were both super tight. I saw him get out of the guillotine, and I was impressed. But he kind of looked like he had just enough room to wiggle around. When he had him in that triangle, I thought it was dead because you know for a fact that Ortega's a triangle guy.
That's his whole thing.
That's his whole thing, and he had him in that triangle so freaking tight. I mean, so as much as I want to praise Ortega for being amazing, like I don't think people really realize how difficult it is to get out of a world-class black belt's triangle when you're so freaking exhausted. You're in the middle. It was the 4th round, I think it happened. You're halfway through the 4th round of a 5-round UFC fight, and you're stuck in a triangle with probably one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the UFC right now, like dead to rights in a triangle, and you figure out a way to work your way out of it. I don't know too many people alive that would be able to do that.
Where would you actually, let's talk about that for a second, because a big thing that's come up is as a result of this, there's a lot of people just clowning on his jiu-jitsu because of his inability to finish Volkanovski. I don't think that's fair, but I do like seeing all the Gracie University memes. Like those are fun.
where they talk. I haven't been noticing it much, but like
they're talking
shit about it. Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It's hey, look, you
start fresh and let Brian Ortega go 5 rounds and then let him put you in a triangle. And I guarantee you, like all you motherfuckers are going
to. Here's the thing. I think that it's also easy to mention that this is a Brian Ortega putting a triangle on you at the start of a fight is a lot different than towards the end of a fight after a few rounds with Volkanovski.
Right,
so obviously the fact that he was able to make it as tight as he did,
the fact that he was even able to keep his mind in the game to think about putting a triangle on was insane to me. It reminded me of throwbacks to the old school Gracie Warriors that refused to freaking quit and continued to stay in the fight no matter what. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
it's the beauty of jiu-jitsu in my mind.
Yeah. Do you think the next match is like a Holloway Ortega rematch? Do you think that goes different?
You mean Volkanovski versus Holloway?
No, I meant Ortega versus Holloway.
Because Volkanovski beat Holloway already, right? Didn't he beat him twice or something like that?
He beat him by many consider kind of iffy decision. It was pretty bad. I remember feeling a lot more passionate about it when it happened, but it was dodgy.
I mean, Ortega made a believer out of me. It's just unfortunate, his striking is improved drastically.
He ditched his boxing coach a while ago.
You can't get hit that much. You just can't. You can't absorb that much punishment and have any kind of longevity in the career or in your career. Your body just can't do it.
Yeah,
and we kind of saw that with Nick Diaz. Your body just can't maintain that many beatings. You only have a finite number of that much destructive force inside you. So it's not an intelligent way to fight. And, you know, you're going to have long-term effects from that. There's no fucking, no way around that. You're fucked. You're going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
That's just
By the way, I think it's a good time to shout out the fact that with this UFC card, somewhat friend of ours, Roxanne Modafari,
we got to get her back on again.
She didn't come away with the W, but with this last fight, she set the record for most women's MMA fights in the world.
Awesome. Let's get her back on again. I love Roxanne. We'd had her early on when we weren't as good. I'd like to have her back on now that we're kind of a little more polished. You got a connection with her? Can you call her?
I mean, I'll see if
do.
because she's like a little too cool for either of us, but she's so cool.
She may. You never know. Give her a shout.
Roxanne, if you're listeling to this,
we've been a friend of the show before. We'd love to have you on. If you could give us an hour, we'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, it's she's super cool, and not enough people are talking about that. Like she's been doing this so long now.
What was the record? Most fights for a female, most wins for a female all time?
I think it was 48, and she just had her 49th fight.
That's insane. That's
49 fights.
49 fights. That's a lot of freaking fights, man. People out there that don't know, like 49 professional fights is insane. Like I sparred for the first time in 10 years, MMA sparring last Friday, 3 rounds against some of my amateurs. Actually, I think one of the guys I fought with, I think was in Bellator a long time ago, but I can't remember, but he's old and shit. And like, that sucked. Like that, you know what I mean? 3 5-minute rounds of just horsing around, like getting hit and getting kicked and taken down and fighting someone. Jiu-jitsu is very different.
Brief potential correction here. I think in her post she was counting amateur bouts, but she's had 44 professional.
That's still insane. Yeah, it's still back 44. Back when she was fighting amateur, the difference between amateur and pro was. Yeah, it was in name only. Probably the only difference was she probably didn't get paid, to be honest with you. I know a lot of guys that fought amateur back then, and it was just some of the amateur fights were pretty much professional fights.
Yeah.
3-minute rounds instead of 5-minute rounds. But the point of it is that, you know, I did 3 5-minute rounds against some amateurs, and like my body felt like I got hit by a truck. Imagine doing that at the highest levels for Jesus.
It's crazy.
44 fights.
It's absolutely insane. So congratulations to her on her huge achievement. Please come back on the show. We miss talking to you. I have a ton of One Piece opinions I need to divulge on a podcast, and you're the only one I can talk to about it.
Let's do it, baby. I'm here for you, man.
Also, Angela Hill, if you ever want to just come by and talk nerd shit. Huge fan as well. So
I wouldn't mind having Maysa on.
Oh yeah, that's so fucking cool.
She's my super secret crush. I love you, Maysa. I would kill an entire room of grown men for you if you ever.
Hey, Kevin Gallagher, I need to tell you right now, you do not have secret crushes. You let us all. You let everybody know.
There's nothing secret about anything with me. I pretend like I'm this cryptic, like you know, like I'm so hard to figure out.
Hard to pin down.
A fucking open book.
So I think we got one more thing MMA wise to talk about before we move on to the WNO and other huge grappling news that's happened. But Nate Diaz, Robbie Lawler. Congratulations, Robbie Lawler. Nate Diaz, you still look good. There's a lot of outlets saying that you don't look like you want to be there, which I think is.
Well, did he ever really? Like he always kind of looked like that. I mean, so he was always kind of lethargic and laid back. That was his style.
Yeah, that's both of them. They don't care about you.
Right. Yeah, first of all, fuck both of you guys. They got paid.
What job are you doing? That you love it so much you don't care if you get paid? Like, come on, that's stupid. People need to stop saying that shit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
This dishwasher is not working like he wants to be there. Like he's just trying to get a paycheck. Yeah, just fucking. That's every job in the universe.
Exactly. I wish someone would call my old ass and be like, "Hey, how'd you like to make $500,000 next weekend? Or how'd you like to make $500,000 in 6 months? Just get in shape." All right, sounds great.
Yeah. It's like you don't get to make all those calls unless it's stemming from a place of concern. Like, shut the fuck up, you know. Right. But what do you think about that one?
So, unfortunately, I did not see that fight. I got there right at the tail end. I saw the knockout from Lawler. I think what I start to recognize and what I start to think of when I think of that fight, again, giving it just my overall take on it from a philosophical approach without actually watching the endeavor, what I believe to be the case. And then I think based upon what I've heard other people kind of say, I think it's one of the things where two guys that have a name took an opportunity to throw it in the ring and say, hey, let's get paid. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I think it's way better and it was way more competitive. They're still arguably viable competitors. I mean, I think that, Nate Diaz against a large portion of the current UFC roster is still probably going to win that fight. Same thing with Robbie Lawler. Are they ready to take on top tier ranked opponents in that division? Probably not. They're probably well past their prime for that. Was it a competitive fight based upon the two of them where they are right now? Again, arguable. I think that Robbie Lawler is on his way out, but I think he has been more active, substantially more active than Nate Diaz over the last 6 years. I mean, Nate hasn't fought in 6 years.
I mean, he was I think it was his last one, Colby Covington. I remember that was like where Colby set the record for most significant strikes.
Ben Askren put a funny quote out or tweet out that said something about the last time Nate Diaz fought, he was having his debut at WNO.
Yeah, he's been tweeting a lot of stuff to try and get people to forget that he.
But Ben, let us all down. I don't think Ben gives a shit. Ben
I know. Hey, listen, he made his money. Yeah, he did it, but he also let us down, so we don't have to treat him like king shit for it.
And also, the one more thing, just to give Ben a freaking a little nod. Like, Ben is an Olympic gold medalist, and if you talk to Roddy Ferguson,
no, he's not.
Didn't he win the gold? I thought he won gold.
No, he was on the trial team and he went to the Olympics, but he didn't.
I thought he was a gold medalist. Oh, never mind.
No.
Whatever. He was.
He talks like he is. Hey, look, if you make it on,
hey, you know what? Fuck you, Ben Askren.
If you make it on the Olympic team, like I'm a balding dude in a chair. What the fuck? Listen, you can fucking do whatever you want. I'm just saying, like you let us down, Ben. Like hard.
The Jake Paul thing was sad. But hey, whatever, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't want to
Logan
talk about
Paul.
that.
He fought Logan.
He fought Jake Paul. He fought the younger one. All right. WNO. A lot of stuff to unpack here. The Ruotolo twins just absolutely went off, claiming different titles in different ways. Tim Spriggs submitted Kenan Duarte to claim the heavyweight final. There's so much to talk about. Did any matches stand out to you?
Again, I'm an asshole, so I haven't watched any of it. I was actually supposed to be there. I was supposed to go out, and literally up until the final hour, as of 6 o'clock on Friday night, I had a flight booked and a hotel booked, and I was going to leave at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. And then a few different things popped up. The tickets were super expensive. I was going to be out about $1,000. And Aaron said if she won, she would compensate me for it. Anyway, long story short, I didn't end up going, which upsets me because now I'm super pissed because that's a perfect opportunity. You know me, I'm a ham. I want to hang out with all those dudes. I could have been backstage with freaking.
You could have been like rubbing elbows.
Yeah, it would have been like freaking. I live for that shit. Yeah. So I didn't go. But overall, obviously Tim Spriggs was a huge match. Amanda Levy, is that her name, from one of Smash Bash Jay's black belts?
Yeah, she beat Gabby Garcia.
I think that was
huge.
Awesome.
Huge upset
because of the drama between Gabby Garcia not having to clock or not having to weigh in. Elizabeth Clay, Ruotolo brothers. What was a couple other big
also Maysa Bastos defeated Grace Gundrum. That's the one I really want to talk about.
The Hillbilly Hammer. All these unknown guys. Yeah, the Hillbilly Hammer. Who's this guy?
He beat William Tackett. Think about that. Pedigo submission fighting took on one of the rising stars today.
Is that where he's from? Is he one of the Daisy Fresh guys?
He's one of the Daisy Fresh guys. Yeah. The way he looked after that match. It's really great to see that kind of pure emotion in jiu-jitsu because a lot of times it seems like people are punching a time card on some of these, which is like, hey, look, I'm not going to tell you how you need to act after beast moding somebody, but it was really cool. It was really authentic. And I thought that was I'm happy for him. I hope he does well. would love to chat with him sometime if he's out there. Hillbilly, what's up?
You know, we get him on the ice. That's a tough. He's flow grappling. Where we gotta have permission.
They're very
from
big on flow grappling. Yeah, maybe if I go down there just with a camera and say, "Hey, I'm with flow grappling." Yeah, Kyle sent me.
Some glasses in
I have
disguise.
a T-shirt. I shave my head. Hey, it's me, Heil Teague. I'm just gonna talk like this now. I've made the choice to just be.
I want to not hate that guy. I really do. I want to not hate that dude, but there's just something about his voice. Maybe I'm jealous.
It's a very good voice.
Yeah, it's an odd voice though. It just doesn't fit the jiu-jitsu dynamic. I don't know.
It's very. It's like too highbrow for us. Yeah.
It's too good. It's too polished. And perfect.
Any Heil Teague fans out there, please do not watch my latest episode of Under Pressure with Emil Fisher, because some things are said about flow grappling. Hey, but as I specify in the episode, Emil's thoughts and opinions are his own and do not reflect those of Under Pressure or Kevin Bradley, the interviewer. So
overall, I have to say, man, I want to be upset. I want to hate it. I really did. Not really want to hate it, but they did a good job. They really did.
This show seems like it's been one of the most successful in terms of just producing absolute great matches with great results. Like,
they have the best talent in the game, the best production value, and I hate to say it, I think the best venue to show it at. And everything's in Austin, and they're showing it on Flow Grappling. Yeah, I was mad I don't have a Flow Grappling account. On Sunday, I really wanted to watch it, and I was like, oh, man. And I almost thought about buying that shit just so I could watch it.
So right now, let's take the three big active U.S. Tournaments. You got Third Coast, you got Fight to Win, you got. I think then it's who's number one. Like right now, where are you ranking the importance of a title from each of those?
Between those three, I love you, Seth, and I love you, Third Class Grappling, but we all know that there's nothing that comes compare, because they can't compare to the WNO. Now, I'm not saying they don't put on amazing shows. I'm not saying they don't do good events, and I'm not saying we should all pay them homage for paving the way for the WNO to be able to do what they do, but the WNO is clearly the best out there right now.
Yeah,
Polaris is another one that's close,
but that's like less frequent, and I think they're trying to do more stuff overseas with cross promoting between America and Europe, which is really cool. But it seemed for a while that Third Coast was really coming for that spot, just with the talent they were having on the Kumites, the tournaments that they were getting to do. Do you think having Cyborg as their franchise player might have backfired a little bit?
I mean, there's always been a level of confusion within the Third Coast Grappling front
also,
office,
Ryan, if you're listening to this,
Ryan, I love you, Ryan. You're more than welcome to come on and talk to us about this whenever you like. I know Ryan. I talk to him all the time. I'm just speaking my mind. I love your events. I think they're great. And all we're doing is talking about things that I feel like are in play. When I think about the Third Coast Grappling, I just think about there's a little bit of confusion. It's just they've been trying very hard to figure out who they are as an organization, and it was always changing, always this and always that, and Kumite this and wrestling matches this. And as jiu-jitsu was growing, they were trying to figure out a way to make something profitable. And I think, unfortunately, whatever the WNO does, I think maybe binding himself to Gordon Ryan and binding themselves to Flow Grappling and getting some of the people, the players in the industry they've had to start to get
everyone that forks over a huge check to Gordon Ryan. He's already killed a gi company, so be careful about that.
Well, another thing we could talk about too is we could talk more about we finally have a bit of a word of acknowledgement from Nick. What's his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name. Big guy. Oh God, I'm completely drawing a blank. The heavyweight that fights, that beat Cyborg and ADCC controversial match. We had him on a show all the time. Nicky Rodriguez
about the Danaher split.
The Danaher split.
It
was very vague, and you could tell he was being political.
I was obviously a little bit busy this weekend, so I
Right.
saw it come up, but I missed it. I didn't read it.
He
So
alluded a little bit towards. He didn't say names, but it's kind of obvious. Everyone else but Gordon Ryan left kind of said something about cutting a cancer out, and things that don't seem to work out, and how much he loves John Danaher being around, but it's time for us to come on and move our own thing. We'll be fine. And then he went on to say he thinks that Nicky Ryan will be the greatest grappler of all time. Without saying it flat out, he's kind of saying that Gordon Ryan is, the reason why we're all gone. And that's just my take on it. And I don't think that I'm making that up. I don't think that that's something that I created.
Does that mean Nicky Ryan and his brother aren't good? Because that's fucking rough, man.
Man,
I mean, I think Gordon's kind of a piece of shit.
This is where I fall on this, man. I really want to believe that Gordon Ryan is not the horrible monster that I think he is, because I've met him in person. I guess I want to try to. I always do my best to find the good in people.
You want to empathize with everyone, and I think that's a noble goal.
And it's something that's innate in my chemistry. I can't help myself. I want to try. I always look to try to find the best in people, and I want to believe he's not that good of a person, or he's not that bad of a person. But God damn, is it so hard to not start to put the pieces together when you see the way things are going? And I'm not drawing assumptions here. I'm not taking this out of thin air. I mean, it's your little brother, dude. If your little brother hates you enough to say, I don't want to train with you anymore.
I would love it if Nicky Ryan comes out as just woke. He's just yeah, I voted Democrat. I'm super socialist. I was a Bernie guy.
Now we got Gordon.
I read feminist theory and realized my brother's kind of a tool bag. So I'm just gonna
these guys are hitching. To be honest with you, this is where I'm at right now with it, and I hate to be a dick. I don't think we need fucking Gordon Ryan anymore. And I think that, unfortunately, I think we're going to get to a point.
It's crazy. He's forced us to live a life where he's not competing at the top and winning tournaments all the time. It's not like when Jordan left basketball. There's still matchups that we cared about. It's not like the greatest guy to ever do it in the history of ever just decided to stop. A very good guy with a lot of titles who's at the top of a lot of rankings right now decided to leave, and life went on.
Yeah, and that's the problem when you're not. There's a large when you're that.
He's not as big a deal as he thinks he is, and
when you're that polarizing of a figure, when you can't see through the lines and realize that some of the things you're saying are so fucking horribly wrong, but you say them anyway. When you make yourself that polarizing, that's the unfortunate inevitability of it. When you're gone, a lot of people are going to be like, "Who gives a fuck?" When you're beloved, when you're gone, people think it's sad, like the unforeseen circumstances of his stomach issues. There would be people out there, and I still feel like it's sad because I think he's young and maybe he grows and all this other shit like that. But when you're not beloved, there's some people out there that be like, fuck this fucking guy.
Yeah, I think that if he had made himself not completely unlikable to a huge section of people just based on all the inflammatory, needless shit he says, we'd want him back. But I think if you make yourself that hated by that many people, eventually people aren't going to want to. They don't care if there's a potential for you to lose a match. They don't want you to get paid. They don't want you to do well.
They don't fucking care.
Yeah, they're literally I just don't want to. I don't need you to lose a fight. You'll get paid for showing up. So I just don't want that to happen.
I love Flow Grappling, and I think that. I don't want to say I love them, but I don't mind it. I just don't they're
putting out the best product right now, but
they're hitching
also
their wagon
feeding
still
into.
Gordon Ryan. I don't think we need him anymore. They're doing this weird exhibition match against my homeboy. Philip Rowe.
Yeah,
I'm glad my homeboy's getting paid because you're a good dude. If you're out there, you want me to come coach you, let me know. I'd love to fly out there with you, Philip. I might hit him up and see if he says I can fly out there with him. He's probably not, but whatever.
He's a UFC guy, right? Who's Gordon fighting in the super fight? I just heard
Philip Rowe, who's my homeboy from fucking Atlanta.
Okay.
I might hit him up and see if he wants me to fly out there with him. I'd love to fucking do it. I did it the last time, but we'll see.
Just punch Gordon.
No. What don't take me there.
No,
I don't want to go. I don't want to tell you about
do
my
that.
late night fantasies as I'm putting my head on my pillow. Like, I don't want to think about that.
Oh man,
but
that's
the idea. Like Gordon has this whole thing, and it's a weird rule set. He's going against an unknown. The rule set is after submission they reset. So basically, he wants to put on a clinic as an exhibition, so we can sell DVDs, so that we can still get our Gordon Ryan fill, because he's not ready to compete against a real competitor because he's got stomach issues and yada, yada, yada. And it's kind of a gimmick thing. And like after what happened at the WNO this weekend, the amazing display of grappling we saw from other grapplers that aren't assholes, the majority of them anyway.
Yeah, like I'm more invested in almost everybody that competed, like.
So here's what I'm going to say is my final thought on this one. Gordon Ryan, thank you so much for what you have done to help build the art of professional grappling. Believe me, I don't think that we would be at the place we are right now without you. I think that you were very, 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 very a huge piece of what happened and what came around to create the sport of professional grappling where we are now. Unfortunately, I don't think we need you around anymore. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. I would love to see you compete. If you continue to compete, that's fine. I'm happy for you. But I don't think we need you to be the highlight spectacle of everything that is grappling right now. And I'm sure he'll go out and prove me wrong. That's what he does. But that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Did you do you want to talk about? Did you hear anything about the Gabriel Souza Mikey Musumeci matchup?
No, I know. Did he submit him?
That's crazy. He submitted Mikey with the North-South. Yeah, that's like also what Buchecha used against Anderson Silva in his debut.
Yeah, that's insane. Then Mikey dropped out. Didn't do the consolation finals. That's weird. That's kind of shitty.
Well,
Seth Daniels said a good thing about that.
I don't know. I don't really know what happened with that. I think Mikey's usually game, so it might have been that he felt something was wrong, like he was hurt.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it also could have been that he was having one of his known meltdowns.
Hey, look, if you're taking stock of yourself, and I think maybe I don't know what it's a weird thing because I don't know what athletes owe people. I've been trying to get better about that, and especially since oh my god, I'm such a piece of shit. I wrote an article about her. She was the gymnastic U.S. gymnast that dropped out because
I'm so fried today too. You Simone
Biles, and she dropped out because of a lot of reasons that are legitimate. And I've been trying to get better about not, judging athletes for the decisions they make. I'm trying not to make it about the fact that I'm a huge Mikey Musumeci fan. And, I don't want him to have just stormed off. But, listen, I hope he's doing well. I hope he's whatever's going on, he recalibrates. But Gabriel, phenomenal finish. He was talking about – he gave an interview after talking about how he was drilling that sequence for a long time. And it was hard breaking through Mikey's guard because Mikey's guard is so good.
Yeah, I read a little bit about that, like how he got through and then he saw the opening and he dropped in on it. And it was just something. He was like, oh, shit, here I am. I'm in my best position, my best submission he's been working on forever. So,
yeah, man. But from some of these matchups, are there any future matchups you want to see WNO or fight to win? Because these matches can continue in other promotions. We could see people fight people in outside of WNO because I don't think anyone's under contract, right?
No, yeah. I mean, if they are, they're stupid. I think that Tim Spriggs has automatically put himself back into the picture as being a viable competitor.
Yeah. By the way, people saying his post-fight speech was cringy. The crypto stuff is annoying, but for real, what the? Yeah, he was talking about crop tops and I don't know if Tim Spriggs is known as a weird bad dude or if he's done anything bad. I could be, but if this is it, I don't.
That guy just had a fucking match against Kanye Duarte. He was fucking.
He submitted him with a foot lock. Are you kidding me?
You put him on the microphone after he's exhausted and full of freaking adrenaline and stuff, and then you ask him some questions. Of course, it's gonna sound a little silly. And Peter wasn't even I listened to it too because people were talking all kind of trash. I was expecting to see something we could talk about on the show.
Yeah, we literally delayed 3 minutes to watch it. I'm like, is this what people were mad about?
Right.
He talked about crop tops and being open about his like sexuality. Like
It wasn't even in
it was weird. Like
it
it was just
wasn't.
like
It was just
it was
in a
just like, hey
joking, ha
man,
ha
I'm
ha.
cool. Like I used to play football and we do the crop top.
Yeah.
Like crop
all right.
people do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
He wasn't
it?
talking about like going to the club and dancing.
Are you
around.
mad that? And even if he was, who fucking cares? But you're mad that he's talking about a sport that more people care about. Like, is that it?
No, this is my thing on that speech. And when I saw that speech and I saw the outcry of people that were talking about it, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this isn't a critique of Tim Spriggs. This is a critique of the BJJ community in general that will think that there is something to critique about that. You guys need to check yourselves because that wasn't even that fucking bad.
I think that's basically everything this week. But anything coming up that you're excited by that you want to briefly cover? Just because I know we didn't even talk about Buchecha. Congrats to him for his finish. We didn't talk. Would you rather talk about Buchecha or the security guard that choked out Dillon Danis?
Oh man, can we talk a few seconds about that?
Let's talk. We
got like 5 minutes left.
We got exactly 5 minutes left before
you just call it when you're ready to call it.
Yeah. So Dillon Danis tried to get into a club and didn't have his ID on him, and he tried to Google himself in front of the bouncer to show the bouncer who he was, and the bouncer was like, "That's not an ID, bro." And apparently he got a little rowdy, and so the bouncer had to take his back and sink in an RNC, and you could see Dillon tapping on the video.
Bless his heart.
Oh man, yeah, this dude seems like, yeah. So Marcelo Garcia black belt. Marcelo Garcia black belt.
All I can think of is this entire scenario that is possibly the worst fucking thing that could happen to the image of Dillon Danis. It's like that will plague him. But I don't care how many titles he wins. I don't care if he ever comes back and becomes a UFC champion. There will always be footage of him getting tapped by that bouncer.
Dude, Dillon, the bouncer said his name is Chance. That's like what that's what he's like, apparently that's what his name is. But he's like, so Dillon's having this conversation with somebody, and then so Dillon tried to throw he said, that's when Dillon tried to throw a punch. It wasn't a great punch. So he tried throwing a punch, missed it, and that's when I grabbed him by the neck and pulled him down.
Full disclosure, his knee has been blown forever.
In the video, you see him tapping everything. Yeah, you see him tapping everything.
But just the footage of him tapping to some civilian on the street.
Dude. BJ Penn got knocked out. He never tapped.
BJ Penn never
at his worst, getting into bum fights on the streets of Hawaii.
Guess
BJ
what,
Penn
kids?
Never tapped.
When you tap in a street fight, no one cares. I don't know. There is no tap in a street fight, but you're going to sleep.
I'm gonna rescind normally 9 times out of 10 I say there's no dishonor in tapping. I want to just like pull that away for this one, just like this one a little bit.
I didn't know there was actually footage of him tapping.
Dude, the video is so. Hang on, do I have it? I don't want to show the video. Well,
I have this image of Gordon Ryan waking up in the morning and drinking his coffee and about to start his day, and just the absolute joy that he must have gained from opening his phone up and seeing, like reading the article and then scrolling down and thinking and finding out that there's actually a video.
Dude, he passed out. That healed his stomach ulcer.
Tom DeBlas gave the guy a membership, by the way.
Yeah, he gave him a membership. He's going to be training at Ocean. I wish he would train at the Hive. Hey, man, the Hive is not that far from Ocean. Just come over here. Go over there. I'm not there anymore, but like,
so amazing.
Come party with us. But yeah,
I can't.
Good end to a story.
Good end to the story. Such a. In my opinion,
does Dillon fight again? Does Dillon fight again after this? Like, what does he do?
The whole scenario from start to finish. Well, he'll fight again. He's still going to get paid.
But he hasn't fought in 2 years. Like,
he's bordering on unviable.
Yeah,
he better get his shit together. And again, it's just partly just he's just
I think his whole life ever since Marcelo kicked him out has just been like nonstop. I'm just gonna make things as bad for myself as I possibly can.
It's just, when you talk that much shit and you get that much fucking. The only thing would be like if AJ Agazarm got tapped out by some bouncer at a bar or some shit.
I
like
think
that.
at
It's
this
that type
point,
of shit.
I think at this point, people hate Dillon more than AJ. I think he's fully usurped.
Well, at least AJ's done some shit. What the
Yeah,
fuck has
AJ's
Dillon
had more
Danis ever done?
fights.
Yeah.
AJ's had more fights, and
Or even
you know,
more titles in jiu-jitsu. What the fuck has Dillon ever done? He won
did,
like
he
the
almost
brown
beat.
belt.
He did an okay. He did okay against Gary Tonin one time.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's your fucking claim to fame.
That's about it. I think he beat Boston UFC fighter black belt. We had him on. Shit, I'm such an asshole.
Not Joe Lozone.
Joe Lozone. Yeah, he fought him at Metamoris.
That's right. He fucked his leg up or something
Yeah.
like that too. Didn't he like blow his ACL out or something?
Yeah, but this was back. Apparently, Joe was telling us that like behind the scenes, Dillon was like a little nerd kid. It was just like he took him out to. Joe actually took him and his family out to dinner.
Dude, let me tell
so.
you something. I love
Joe
all of
Lozone's
you.
a great guy.
I love all of you jiu-jitsu guys. You big jiu-jitsu stars. You're all super cool. I hung out with a lot of you. Most of them are fucking nerds. I hate to say that.
I think,
and I don't mean to be a dick.
And
a lot of them, like, you know, it's cool, and I ain't mad about that.
I think we got to call it there. That's a good place to end it. Most jiu-jitsu people are nerds.
Then wait for me to piss all my friends off and burn all my bridges, and then we'll call it a night.
A few things, everybody. As always, go check out UncleCoachKevin.com, the number one blog in the universe. Going to be putting out a ton of articles there. Coming soon. And if you like what we're doing here and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe, share with all your friends, and check out my new show, Under Pressure. It's where I go and interview people during live rolls, jiu-jitsu peeps, dudes and dudettes of all kinds. Episode 1 with the very controversial but very enlightening Emil Fisher. So go check that out. And if you like it, subscribe. Helps me afford to do more episodes.
Yeah, you did a good job of that. I really enjoyed it.
Help me get down to Florida so I could do the real one.
It's coming. We'll get you there. We got things to talk about.
Okay,
that might be happening sooner than you think.
I have to go vaccinate my dog. So as always, thank you so much for joining us this week. Go follow us on all the socials. Links is always down below. Thanks again to Chris Noonan, my coach and good buddy, for providing the intro, outro tracks. Go follow his work as well down below. All the big stuff, all the important stuff down below. So just go check it out. And we will see you next week when you inevitably once again become stuck in K-Guard. Oh, no judges needed. Number one clothing brand in the universe for the jiu-jitsu aficionado and MMA aficionado. They got gis, rash guards, combat shorts, casual wear, hoodies.
NoJudgesNeeded.com. Go check them out.
NoJudgesNeeded.com. Just they're great guys. Go check them out. You know, like we can just talk about people we like. And that's it. I got no more time left. So we will see you when you get stuck once again inside K-Guard. Peace out.